Mi gente. Today I want to speak to you about flow. Now, though the bones create the structure of the musculoskeletal system, they do not produce the flow. Don't let anybody fool you. Size does matter as it pertains to bones. You want a nice, long, thick, very dense bone, and it needs to fit deep into that socket so that when they grind against each other, the heat produces friction. Whew. But I didn't come to talk to you about bones. What I actually came to talk to you about were the muscles. In exercise physiology, even when you're doing an isolated movement, you must understand that muscles work in doubles. Lately, I've been having that double vision, but let me break it down for you a little more. There are prime movers. That is the muscle that you are focusing on to do the exercise. Then there is the antagonist, which is the muscle in direct opposition to the muscle that you are focusing on. And then there are stabilizers, which are obviously there to stabilize the movement at the juncture. You guys know I'm super deep, so I'm not just going to talk superficially and keep this to speaking about the body. Now, let's label the internal forces so that you can get a better understanding of what I'm trying to teach. If I were to choose a prime mover, it would be the mind. Then there's the antagonist. The antagonist to the mind is the soul. It is the character. And the character and your mind must work together in order to create some flow. What are the stabilizers? The heart, the seat of desire, the will, and the spirit, the essence of life. If there is no stability in your heart and in your spirit, you will lose the structural integrity of the edifice. In order to facilitate optimal functionality and flow, you must continue to work the prime mover by focusing on it and doing high repetitions. Focus on the mind, but you must get your antagonist, the character, to work in conjunction with the mind. Once these two learn to work with each other instead of opposing each other, you got flow. You cannot expect to have good flow with anybody until you learn to flow within yourself. But now, let's use the bicep and the tricep as an illustration of how we work with another person in the body of Christ. When I am performing a bicep curl, the bicep is the muscle in isolation. It is the muscle that we are focusing on to perform the movement, but it cannot work alone. The bicep requires the strength of the tricep, the antagonist, in order to bring the muscle to its resting position. Today, we're not going to talk too much about stabilizers. We're going to stick to primary movers and antagonists. Now, if the tricep refuses to work in conjunction with the bicep, because in this exercise, the bicep is the prime mover, it will cause an interruption to the flow. And in fact, the entire arm will be inoperable. One muscle cannot overpower the other just because one is the primary mover and the other is the antagonist, because in another exercise, like a tricep extension, the tricep will be the primary mover, and so they must work together. In the same breath, in life, when you find another muscle connected to that same bone, got me having to control my fast twitch muscle tissue. Anyway, let me reel it back in because now I'm thinking about bones. But when you find somebody that works at the same juncture, you need to learn to work together. One is the primary mover, the other is the antagonist. Then the other is the primary mover, and the other one becomes the antagonist. And this is how we create a flow. Today, I really want you to facilitate the flow within yourself, to have your mind, the primary mover, and your character, the antagonist, working together in conjunction, because you can do anything when you've got flow. In addition, I want you to remember that even if we are in direct opposition of one another, One is the primary mover, the other the antagonist, but we flow better together. Today, I want you to get that double vision and go get it. Accept it with love. Endure it with patience. Return it with force.